Hello, and welcome to the Consider Your Mind podcast. I'm your gracious host, Eric King, and on this very special kickoff episode, we'll be interviewing Steve Moore of MoreAwarenessTease.com. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Consider Your Mind podcast. I'm your host, Eric King, and today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Steve Moore of More Awareness. How you doing, Steve?
What up, world? How you guys doing?
Oh, man, we're doing good, man. We're just in your world, man. You know what I'm saying? We're just trying to be like you.
Oh, man, look, I'm trying to be like you when I grow up.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys having me on here, man.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. It's an honor. Again, thank you so much again for being our first official guest on the podcast. And as you know, and for those who don't know, Consider Your Mind is all about mental health, all things mental health, bringing awareness to it, talking about the importance of it, supporting those who are on the journey towards mental health, whether that be in a professional, formal way through therapy, psychiatry, or just looking for a community to support their journey towards living a better and healthier lifestyle. So, it was actually many moons ago when I first met you, Mr. Steve, through my co-host Mino, and it was it at the Mayweather Pacquiao fight? Is that when I met you? Or was I meet you before that?
We're not gonna be talking about that.
Yeah, that's the co-host, Mr. Mino.
I love
Vaughn.
the fact that you brought that up, Aaron.
Yeah, no.
Awesome.
Well, one thing again, Detroit people should know, Mino is a proud Laotian brother, okay? The Southeast, he reps it hard. So Manny Pacquiao, that's kind of personal to him. So literally, he didn't talk to me I didn't see Mino for months after that. After that fight, I don't know what happened. We were best friends,
True
but not
story.
for that little bit of period afterwards. So, but it was at that actually. You hosted at your house. I remember it was a good time, man. You, your wife, your kids were there. We all had a good time,
Yeah,
and it was there that you kind of let me. I kind of got a sense of you, man. You're kind of a people person. You know, you were a heck of a host, man. I wanted to. Yeah. So
I bet you that was a crazy ass time, man. And what a lot of people don't know is that was back when I was using. So I was probably a really great time
Okay.
to some people. But
Okay.
that's a little bit deeper into my story, man. We can get into that, but that was a great time, and I think that the relationships and everything that I still build along those times, there's some of them that still hold, and I got some great relationships from like the past and the present, the future to come. It's just beautiful, man.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, hey, let's transition right into it. So, hey, man, I gave him a little bit of introduction, but please tell us who Mr. Steve Moore is.
Okay, well, yeah, man. My name's Stephen Moore. I am about four years sober.
Awesome. Make some noise for that. Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, man. It was some life situations that happened that had me rethinking the path that I was going down. I met some really great people that helped me to look inward, to really start making me think about my mind. But a little bit deeper than that, right? My name is Stephen Moore. I'm originally from New Jersey, Jersey City.
Okay.
Me and my family came to Minnesota when I was just a young little dude, probably like 5 or something like that. But I did a lot of going back and forth. You know, parents kind of divorced when I was that little. Did a lot of back and forth from Twin Cities back to Jersey City. So. I think for me personally, it was a lot of trying to figure out who I am. You know what I mean? Here's this kid constantly bouncing back and forth from East Coast to Midwest, constantly being the new kid, trying to fit in everywhere he goes and trying to create relationships and friendships that weren't never really sustaining very long. You know what I mean? So a lot of that shit. I can cuss on here, right?
We prefer not to, but hey, man, because it's the first one. Maybe after we get established and stuff, we know people loyal to us, and then they'll follow us, All
right, man. I'll try to keep it PG.
I appreciate that.
As we go. Yeah. No, man, but being a little lost around the way, who I was, and then meeting some people kind of got me to figure out who I didn't want to be. Right. And then once I realized, okay, I don't want to be this guy. So who do you really want to be? So then it was like me taking some steps to do some soul searching, do some self seeking, some self help. So I took that time and contacted a friend of mine, got myself checked into a rehab facility, and took 2 months to myself, which big shout out to my wife for holding it down.
Definitely shout out to the Mrs. Moore.
Man, shout out to wifey, bro. She held it down for 2 months while I was kind of doing my thing and getting my head together, and the rest has been history after that. I'm a proud father. I got 3 kids, but I like to say I got a lot of kids, right? Because growing up, you know how we said it takes a village.
No, yes, it's true.
I mean, I feel like I'm a pops to a lot of youngins out there. I got 2 sons and a younger daughter, and they got friends who I feel like I try to help, be a parent to them as well.
Yeah, no, that's very important. As you said, it takes a village, and father figures are important, period. Life is complicated, and unfortunately, not everybody does have a father in the home. So, as you said, kids will gravitate towards you. They'll gravitate towards, their friends that do have a pops, So, no, that's great that you're taking on that. And so that's kind of a little bit more of a responsibility. But does that kind of have to do with some of the transitions that are going on in your life? As you, again, obviously, you have a wife, you have children, but again, now be going beyond that. Kind of let's get into like where did more awareness come from? Was it that bigger sense of responsibility, or where did talk about more awareness?
Oh well. Man, that's dope that you brought that up. Yeah, it did. That sense of responsibility. I felt like I had a sense of responsibility to the community. To, like I said, it takes a village, right? So after getting my head together and figuring out who I didn't want to be, okay, who do I want to be? I want to be somebody that motivates. I want to be somebody that inspires. I want to be somebody that's helping people see the best in themselves, like somebody did to me. Somebody has some hope and faith in me, so I can see the better in myself. So I wanted to do the same thing for other people. You know what I mean? And as my kids are getting older, I'm like, okay, I'm going through some things in life that my kids might actually go through. So I got to be able to navigate these. I got to be able to navigate through this. You know what I mean? So I can help them navigate through it if they ever come across this road. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where More Awareness Tease came from. More Awareness Tease was a way, like a beacon of hope. You know what I mean? A conversation piece. When you see somebody rocking a shirt or something, oh man, look at that. And then it starts a conversation. So that's where it all starts. You know what I mean? Not everything that is brought to the light will be addressed, but nothing will be addressed until we bring it to the light.
Ooh, I like that.
So that's where More Awareness Tease was, like, bringing things to the light by me talking about, I was in rehab. Like having that conversation, and then people are like, oh shit, or oh snap, you know what I mean? Like breaking that ice, like seeing me wearing a sober shirt. Like, oh, okay, dude, you sober? It's like, yeah, I don't drink or whatever. And then it starts that conversation, you know what I mean? Or me having an end racism shirt or something like that. It sparks conversation. No. And, growing up in our culture is very fashion stricken. You know what I mean? We like to stay fly and everything. So it was only right I went that route with it, you know what I mean? Going with a t-shirt and apparel and doing the awareness thing.
Okay. So More Awareness is an apparel company that's, has a larger mission with... it's not just fashion for fashion's sake. You're trying to be a conversation piece,
Yeah.
So because again, I do like the shirt you got on right now, the Sober shirt. Man, like it makes a lot of sense, especially it's got the Minnesota outline on it. Everybody knows cold like Minnesota.
The little dad joke, the Sober.
Yeah.
I had a couple people didn't really get it at first, and they were like, oh, like it took them a while. Like they were looking at my shirt, and that's what I meant. Like that conversation, they were staring at my shirt and they seen it said so, and then it said Burr, BRRR. They're like sober. Oh, and then it like clicked in their head. Sober, he's sober, and I was like, yeah. And so they're laughing and starts that conversation piece up. So how long you been sober? And then I start, we kind of get into that conversation.
Okay, man. No, that's awesome. Because again, when it comes to a lot of times it is breaking that ice. To how do you even start the conversation to get to, hey, I've been to rehab. How do you start the conversation to, hey, I had a problem, to really put it out there like that you have a problem, period. So I think that, again, that's so awesome of you to have that presence of mind. Again, being a very social friendly guy you are, I'm like, okay, you know how to reach out to people. That was pretty clever on your part.
I love people, man. I'm a people
Yeah,
person.
I know.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. You're a people person, man. So no, and that's awesome. And so I'm really excited because I look forward to collaborating with you further in the future. So we can get some T-shirts for some awareness, because that's what merchandise, apparel, whatever platform, podcast, whatever
Looking
people are
forward
on.
to it.
That's the reason
man.
they just created, to bring more awareness and more attention to their overall mission. And I think anytime you can collaborate with a fellow positive individual, positive entity, that starts the synergy, that starts the momentum going to actually make some change. And talk a bit for a second, because I know one of the impetuses for starting this podcast actually was for my own personal, again, journey through therapy, mental health, and I believe a lot of that was sparked on, again, by what we've been going through. The C-19, the pandemic, I think it really has taken a bigger toll, on us psychologically and mentally than. I think we're still unpacking it. We don't even know the repercussions of what we've been subjected to these last couple of years. It's particularly socially.
Man, I know.
And so I think the just bringing idea to tell people it's okay to not be okay. It's okay for this quite serious thing that's been going on with the world to have affected you mentally. And sometimes, hey man, you need to talk about that. So.
Yeah, I definitely seen it too, man. Being in recovery, like I'm actively in recovery, right? Like, so I go to AA meetings. You might catch me speaking somewhere.
Okay.
You might catch me at an AA meeting, just chilling. You know what I mean? Just taking it in or sharing or whatever. So I'm active in it, and I've seen the effect that this C-19 played on my brothers and sisters out here. Struggling with the same mental issues that I've struggled with. You know what I mean? The obsession of the mind. And I feel like addiction gets a bad stigma over it. You know what I mean? It's almost like this shameful thing. You know what I mean? To mention that you've been to rehab.
You're
or
dirty
something
now.
like that.
Look, you've been tainted.
Yeah. So I think I blew people's mind because I openly talk about it. Like, yeah, man, when I was in rehab, I just be like, people be looking like, I think it catches some people off guard. Oh man, he just said that. Like, yeah, I just said but I think, as a society, once we get to a place where that is more, accepted in like a warm way. You know what I mean? I think we tend to look at people and start outcasting and judging and all that kind of stuff, creates more and more problems. But this is a disease of the mind. It's a mental obsession. And what COVID-19 did was force a lot of people to be alone. You had to isolate. And this is a disease that's trying to isolate and kill you. So it wants you to be alone drinking somewhere. So this was a very, very dangerous thing. And that's where More Awareness Tease was born, was out of isolation. I started doing like little daily videos I was recording a while ago and just putting them up on Facebook for like the guys in my group, like a daily meditation or a daily reading. And because I was noticing people were isolating a lot, and that is like the opposite of going to an AA meeting, man. Like we needed to unite. It's the unity. It's the service. That's
community.
the part of the recovery. Yeah. Yes, and that's what I love what you're doing here, Eric, man, is bringing it to this platform, bringing people together, starting that conversation, raising that awareness. Like that's so awesome, man. Like that saved my life. Like that kept me off the deep end.
Realistic talk.
Kept me off. Yeah, man. So, man, flowers to you, bro. Flowers to you for doing it.
No.
Like I feel honored, man, to be here and be able to talk about it. You know what I mean? To spread it a little bit more. No, man. I unfortunately, God rest her soul, I had some brothers pass away during COVID-19, and I didn't want it to be these brothers and sisters pass away for nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I know. I understand. You don't want their death to be in vain.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Like I there's a message, and I want everybody to get it. And that life, wasn't meaningless. Like that life meant something, and to all of us. And I want to continue to use this as a voice for them, the people who can't speak or who don't have a voice. You know what I mean? To be able to do something like that.
No.
And so, I mean, I think that's kind of where more awareness tees really started to bloom when I was like isolated because of this pandemic. And then I was sending people shirts like these the same shirt. This is the OG shirt. This is the sober one. It was the very first. Yeah. So I was sending people these shirts, you know what I mean? And, you know, of course, you know, I think the whole world was traumatized too by the murder of George Floyd. Let's keep in mind that happened during the pandemic, like in the beginning of it too.
Yep, that happened in June, and it was lockdown started in March. So, you know, being in the city at that time, you know, for those, you know, I'm in St. Louis now, but you know, I'm a Twin Cities, you know, guy as well, and it was, you talk about close to home. You know, that drove me off of social media. So that's why, like, now I'm popping up. I said the next thing I do when I come back on social media is going to be a cause. It's going to be for something. Because I just saw, I was sitting looking at the tragedies and the videos and everything. It was like a loop of negativity. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't do it anymore, man. So I've been off of it since then. Hadn't really posted much at all. So that's why, again, coming out with this platform. And it was born out of, you know, my boy Mino as well, man. He was the one, particularly the podcast part of it. You know, because I was just going to like stick to the blog or maybe make a little vlog about after every time I leave therapy, saying something. But, you know, when you start to talk to people, as you see, community, it takes a village. Actually, hey, this could be a little bit bigger than that. And kudos to surrounding yourself with the right people. You know, that's good for your mental health too. People surround yourself with the right folks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned, community, and I mean, I was just over there at the memorial site not too long ago, and that sense of community there, man, it's crazily peaceful. When you go over there, I got a guy, Sam. He owns a store right there, like next door. It's called Just Turkey. It's kind of a shameless plug, right?
Yeah.
It's called Just Turkey. It's right there next to just over there, you know. But that sense of community, it's very peaceful over there right now, which is awesome. If I think one of the things I would love to do is go over there and speak to people. Like, go over there and just really, like, you know what I mean? Just, like, talk to people, you know what I mean? See where people's head is at, you know? Because it's, like, crazy peaceful over there.
No, that's a great, you know, vlog or blog idea for yourself. And we would definitely...
I would definitely love to do that.
Yeah, if you wanted to do something like that. And particularly, I think it would send a good message, too, because one of the issues in the George Floyd case was part of his treatment was the fact that he was a drug addict. You know, he had addiction issues.
Oh, man.
That's played a huge, you know, part in that, you know, think you can just throw people away just because they have an issue, just because they have, you know, a disease at the time. It's not necessarily permanent. They can still recover.
It's that stigma.
It's a stigma, exactly. And you really think you can just get rid of people, throw them away just because, you know, they the local crackhead or the dope fiend. Ain't nobody, you know, and you can't just do that to people. You know, everybody has value.
What's my guy's name?
Philando Castile. Yeah.
He. I mean, I think they had smoked some weed or something like that prior to everything going
made it
down.
the hugest.
And they try to use that. They try to use that to discredit my man's too. So I was like, it's this
the guy that served lunch
you know
to kids. I mean? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, it's no. So again, there's been over time, like trauma builds. You know, it's not just one thing. You know, sometimes it really can be the straw that broke the camel's back. And I think, like I said, for us, like locally, myself being so close to it, literally, like that was it. I was done. Like, you know, lockdown was happening. I'm just in my apartment, scared, especially in the beginning of it too. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting there trying to, you know, maintain some sanity and not knowing what the future is going to hold, if my job contract's going to get renewed, any of this stuff. And then, bam, on top of that, but as soon as I turn on the TV, as soon as I look on social media, you know, I got to see, you know, that tragedy. So I think it's important that, you know, we have spaces like this where people can't even vent. You know, one of the article I put up, the second article on the website is the positives of being negative. It's okay to be angry. You know, about stuff that makes you angry. I love that. Yeah, certain things you're supposed to be angry about. You're supposed to feel certain emotions negative during negative situations. Yeah. Because you don't encounter everything's not positive in life. So if you're reacting with only half your arsenal, half your emotional, you know, you're handicapping yourself actually in life, and over time it can actually, cause you to be sick. And so
I've actually went through that too.
Okay.
Fresh out of rehab, I was in this they call it the pink cloud. I was Mr. Positive, bro. Like, I swear, everything, like, you couldn't get me down at all or nothing. I was so positive, it was scary. But when I read that blog that you put up there, that hit home with me. I was like, man, that's exactly, that's so true. I could feel it. Because there is something about trying to be too positive all the time. You know what I mean? We are we're human.
Yes.
We have ups, we have downs, you know what I mean? And we have all of these different emotions in us. And to deny the other side, it was like I heard this thing. It was the tale of the two wolves. You know what I mean? You had two wolves inside of you. There's different ways of it. I think there's different cultures. Like, which wolf do you feed or whatever?
Yeah, the strong man and the weak man. Who's going to be who?
Yeah,
Depends on who you feed.
Yeah.
That's going to be the strong man.
It depends on who you feed. Yeah. And so I remember one of my counselors, he was talking about that, your inner demons and stuff. And he was like, you starve him, he's going to be sitting over there getting real, real hungry or whatever, but you have to be aware that he's there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of hit home to me too. Like, oh yeah, you got to be aware of it. There was all these little key things, man, that was poking at me. What should I do when I get out of rehab? What should I do? Okay. You know what I mean? The building blocks. So there's a lot more to more awareness, Tease, to. I started this all in hopes to take the proceeds and give the proceeds to men and women for sober living.
Okay.
So that was kind of our end game, is like to take everything that we do and put it towards getting sober housing. It's like a sober housing project for people coming out of recovery or people who are just trying to get to a better environment. So there's another saying that I like too, is you can't heal in the same environment that got you sick. So it's hard for a person to, yeah. So it was hard for me to try to get better in an environment that was keeping me sick. Like, I've seen it with a lot of people. I don't want to say no names, but I've seen it with a lot of people. You have to get out of that environment in order to really rebuild yourself. I've seen it with myself. And so all I wanted to do is give people that opportunity who may not have known I was there or may not have the resources to have it. So, and I talked to a lot of people, and they were talking about how sober houses did them wrong, took their money, they felt like they were just another. And instead of like me getting mad and try to post something on social media about it, I'm like, I can start my own sober house.
There you go. That's the attitude right there.
Like, let's do it. Yeah.
Instead of just being the world's greatest critic.
The other day. Yeah, I could be a critic and just talk about it. But I was like, we live in a day and age where I thought it used to just be a saying, but we're living in a day and age where you could literally be whatever you want to be. Yeah. You could literally do whatever it is you want to do. There's platforms and there's resources, and it's just all about finding those right ones. You know what I mean? And tapping into it. So once I got that mental clarity, which I think, the Consider Your Mind will help people, really, community people, to reach that level of mental clarity. Then you can start to see who you want to be and where you want to go. But it all started with me figuring out who I didn't want to be. I was looking in the mirror and it was a guy that I did not like. And then from there I was like, I do not like this dude, and who do I want to be? And then that forced me to do something about it. Okay. But that's where More Awareness Tease started, and we're gonna keep moving, man. We're gonna be trying to do something great every year, man. Yeah. Hopefully every year we launching some new stuff or working on something new. But
no, absolutely. And that's what this is part of. This is, again, we're launching this out in the beginning of 2022 and then and beyond. And that's why it looks kind of funny, because on our logo it says, established 2020, 2022. But obviously we're doing stuff here in 2021, releasing but because I've heard it like this, you can't wait till New Year's. You can't wait till all of a sudden there's no magic switch. You got to prepare, for that. You got to lay the groundwork so you can hit, whatever ground, you want running.
Hit the ground running.
Yeah, you have to lay down the foundation first, and then, you go ahead and launch off from there. But Yeah, yeah.
I like what you said earlier too, Eric, about doing the vlog for you said you were doing some of your own therapy.
Yeah. No, yeah. Exactly.
I like to hear more and more people, especially men of color. Men of color, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, but just because the stigma behind it, you know what I mean. Black people don't go to therapy. Like there was always a stigma about that. I'm trying to break all these stigmas too, man, all of them. But
no, you're complete. You're 100% correct.
Man.
That is a part of it too, because one of the reasons I'm doing this, honestly, is because of the reaction that I received when I told people that I was going to therapy. And when I put it out there that I was going to therapy, made the first blog, and like people were like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. This is. I wish I need to be doing this," or "Oh, I wish my daughter was in this. She gets so high or so low," or just there's some people like the reaction from it just kind of let me know. You know what? There's a need here. There's I'm tapping in on something. I know I'm doing therapy for myself. At the point, literally.
You feel like you was going down the right path.
But maybe that was the confirmation. Right. You know what? I am going on the right path. And actually, there's some people that would like to probably go down the path with me. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. They just don't know how. Maybe they're a little scared. Maybe they need an intro. So, again, the impetus really was just to document, kind of my journey and put a little information out there to, for the people who are thinking about getting therapy, let them know I went to therapy and nobody died. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still have the same people still love me. I'm not, I don't have any. Again, I went to therapy, not a psychiatrist, so I'm not on any medications now or anything like that. But what it has done is given me, again, tools in my arsenal to deal with my emotions and permission to feel my emotions and not have to check out all the time. Because just personally for me, the reason I'm, I'll get deeper into it on a later date, but the reason I'm in therapy really is because I felt like I wasn't present, in my own life. I was doing so much checking out. I was numbing out. I was in survival mode of, how to deal with social situations I didn't want to be in, or how to not have, I have boundary difficulties. I've learned difficulty definitely in relationships with boundaries, and as a way not to have to deal with that, then, being nonchalant or just, again, checking out mentally. But what that happens is when you're not present with yourself, I wasn't present with myself, so I couldn't be present with anybody else. I had very low empathy. My empathy game has been trash. And I've been wondering why, man? Why come I feel good? And, I'm happy. Why aren't they happy? I'm just feeling how I'm feeling. Well, they're supposed to feel that way too.
You said my empathy game was trash.
Empathy game was trash, man. I apologize for my relationships because I wasn't necessarily being present with myself. I couldn't feel my whole full range of emotions and and feelings. And so, of course, I couldn't feel it in somebody else, man.
That's so real, bro. That's so real.
I was there, but I wasn't present. I wasn't showing up, really.
How do you love someone if you don't love yourself, though? It's kind of one of those conversations, too. Like, you know what I mean? Until you can fully, really love yourself.
Yeah, I would say you can, but it's going to be incomplete. You can show them a form of love. You can give them a piece of yourself. You can be infatuated with somebody. There's going to be all type of reasons. However, like, it's going to fall short. It really, those things are going to not last.
Well, man, that just makes me think about one of my guys at the meeting. He always says, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of...
It was an unknown,
one-hitter.
Yeah,
there's a lot of these little sayings and stuff that they be saying, man. Yeah. They so cliche or corny or whatever, but, hey, they be hitting. No, they true. They just take it one day at a time. Yeah. Like, it sounds so corny or whatever, but, them little corny sayings, like, save me.
Yeah. My grandmother had one, actually.
You can't give what you don't got.
Yeah, can't take nobody no place you never been. Can't give somebody nothing you don't got. My grandmother had one. Everything that's you can appreciate this one. Everything that's good to you ain't always good for you.
Yeah, oh man, that's the truth.
I knew you that would hit you special right there because man,
that one hit. That is the truth.
Yes, because while we're doing, because while we're doing the certain things, maybe we know we're not supposed to be doing or can lead us down an addictive path, but we're doing them because they feel pretty good in a certain sense. We're doing them for a reason. You feel what I'm saying? But it's that reason's been kind of perverted. It's taken over. Like you can have people that are sex addicts. We couldn't or bulimics or anorexic, obese, gambling. gambling or whatever, but I'm talking about just essential things that we need. Eating is essential for us to, but you can, if it's perverted, you know, it can turn into a disorder. Same thing again with sex.
I told my daughter that.
Same thing again.
I
like,
say too much of anything is bad for you.
Exactly.
I don't
Too
care
much
what
of
it is.
anything.
You drink too much water, you get sick. You know, like too much of anything is bad for you.
Exactly. So a medicine turns to a drug, you know, real quick. You know, and
well, I mean, my sons are still relatively. My sons are a little older, right? I got a son that's 18, and I got another son that's 23.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
So they're old enough, right? I mean, we be having conversations, and you know, I talk about that too with them openly. So I'm as you guys here, I'm very much open about my journey. And so I'm just concerned about their journeys. So I have conversations like this with them as well. Like, man, just be careful. I used to drink as a luxury, and then it became a necessity. So I'm like, be very, very careful, because that line, you don't know that you crossed it. I didn't know I crossed that line. Yep. It was a luxury, and I was drinking, living it up, toasted, and all that kind of stuff. But at one point, that it flipped. And it was a necessity. Now it was like I needed it. And I didn't realize how much drinking played a part on everything we did. Hey, man, we're about to go get some drinks, then we're going to go bowling. And we're going to go get some drinks, and we're going to do this. Drinking was the root of everything I did. So now I have conversations with the guys. I'm like, yeah, man, we about to go play sober ball. Like so it's like regular people just call it ball. Like,
I got to make sure you know we're not pre-gaming. There is no, going to the bar for drinks after this. No, none of that.
It completely consumed everything I did. And, I talked to a couple people now, because after getting out of rehab and shit, after getting rehab, I became like Mr. Sober. So now people who feel like they may be overindulging or anything, they'll come out and they'll be asking me questions. Hey, man, I think I might need to slow it down or whatever. And I'm like, well, you might not necessarily need to, but, it's some questions you got to ask yourself. Consider your mind. I like that.
I knew when I thought of it, man. When I bought that .com, I said, "Oh, it's on, baby."
Clever. That was so clever. I love it. But I was like, for me, it was a mental obsession. And I think with any kind of addiction, I think any mental addiction or any addiction is a mental thing. It's a mental obsession. It's an obsession of the mind. So for me, I constantly thought about drinking. And so when I wasn't drinking, I was thinking about drinking. I was thinking about going to get it. When I was sober, I was thinking about it. When I woke up, I had to have some or whatever. So that's an addiction, a true addiction to me. So I was, if you don't feel it, if you don't feel like it's that point, then I think it's probably still luxury. And these are still kind of unclear waters to me. I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm a few years in here, but I try to give people the room, like, instead of just trying to immediately send the world to rehab. Like, you get a turn it to Oprah. You get a rehab. You get a rehab. Like it's like the people that get super saved, and all of a sudden you going to hell. You going to yes, hey. I think I was like that my first 6 months. I think my first 6 months of sobriety, I was like that. I was trying to get the world sober. I wanted the whole world to be sober. Yeah, but that's real. After a while, man, I start realizing too, like, people are going to come across to this stuff on their own terms, and I'm not trying to be the Peter Popoff of sobriety. You know what I mean?
That's great. You're Peter Popoff of sobriety.
I ain't trying to be the Peter Popoff of sobriety, man. So I was just like, you know what? People are going to come to this on their own terms. Let me just tell them what it was like for me. Yeah. And that's all I could do. So when people come to me and they have like, oh, man, I feel like I've been drinking, I just simply just explain to them what my journey looked like. And it was like, for me, it was just mental obsession, man. That's all I could think about. I was a great dad or whatever, and I was one that you might consider to be a functioning alcoholic. Like I have a good career, you know what I mean? I'm an operating engineer. I have a good career, never had a problem at work or whatever, but I seen it was carrying over and having problems at home, and it was on my mind constantly. That's the only thing I could think about. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I didn't like the person that I turned into. Like I said, I was at looking in the mirror like, man, I do not like this guy. So I made some changes based on that. And I would encourage anybody, if you are not really happy with the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror, consider your mind.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Hey, brother, that's you know what?
I like that, dude. You picked it, yo. You picked
I got
dope
one.
name.
I got one.
I like that. Yeah, you got one, bro. You got one. Flowers, man. Flowers.
No, because when Mino was floating the idea about a podcast, I hit him the next day. I was like, "Hey, bro, I just bought this .com. What you think?" And consider your mind. He hit me back with the logo. Okay, my man said it's on. So now we here.
It was a go for Mino.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome. And again, the thing too is we want to do on this platform is definitely treat people as individuals, because that's what we have to learn how to do, because everything isn't for everybody. Some people can drink and everything be just fine. Some people don't need to be nowhere near no liquor. You feel what I'm saying? So that's just that's just life. That's what a lot of things. People can be allergic to certain things in life. Hey man, you need to treat certain things that you're just allergic to. You can't mess with that. Whether it's genetic predisposition, family history, whether it's causing you too many consequences. Before. You had too many DWIs, bro. Like, come on, man.
I said that jokingly. I said I'm allergic to alcohol. I've said that jokingly to people before. Oh man, you allergic? Nah, I'm allergic. Yeah, it's like,
and that's how you got to treat it. There you go, exactly, because it causes a reaction to me I don't like. That's what it. If it was
that is an allergic reaction, technically. Yeah.
There you go. It causes a reaction you don't like. So.
But you're right, man. Individuals are gonna come across things differently. You know what I mean? Some people don't have no business being up at Mystic Lake, or you know what I mean, being in certain situations. But you're 100% right. But it starts with being aware of it. Mm-hmm. If I wasn't aware that alcohol had me breaking out in bad decisions, I would still be drinking.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a person who's allergic to gluten. If he don't know that he's allergic to gluten, he gonna constantly keep eating gluten and keep having the same results.
Reaction, exactly.
And he's wondering like, my bad.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, he'd be wondering, what's going on? Why am I and that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. Mm-hmm. I kept drinking, expecting, okay, this time is going to be different. Mm-hmm. This time is going to be a little different. Why? Like, you haven't changed anything, bro. You still doing the same thing.
It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be, bro.
It's going to be the same thing again. Y'all going to end up arguing and then apologizing tomorrow. It's going to be the same thing.
Yep. Yeah,
I wanted out of that hamster wheel, man.
No, that's awesome, man. My grandmother would say too, to be aware is to be alive. So, speaking of getting more awareness, shout out to my nana, man. Rest in peace to her. To be aware is to be alive, man. And so, in light of that, you tell the people how can they support more awareness? Where can they find you at? Where shout yourself out there, man. How can they be a part and be down with the movement?
MoreAwarenessTease.com.
That's with two O's, right?
More spelled with two O's, like my last name, Mr. Moore. MoreAwarenessTease.com. Go down there and get yourself some apparel. We're working on getting 10% off promotional if you enter in CYM.
We're gonna have a promo code for the people. Yes, this is our first.
We're gonna have a promo code. You know what I mean. So if y'all want some More Awareness Tees apparel, you stay tuned. Check out CYM podcast. We here, man.
That's
and
awesome.
Just know that you're when you're purchasing a shirt or any apparel or clothing from More Awareness Tees is going to a good cause. We are putting money aside for sober housing for men and women struggling with addiction. That is the purpose of More Awareness Tees. So we really appreciate you guys' business. We appreciate your support, and more importantly, we appreciate you guys raising awareness.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. All right, so you heard them, people. Again, More Awareness. Definitely go check them out. Go support them. As our first official, show sponsor partnership. We're definitely excited to put on all things, more awareness. We'll be rocking the apparel once we go video and all of that. So, again, thank you so much to our wonderful guest, man, Steve Moore. And we're going to definitely have you back again. It's just the beginning of it.
I'm down.
Exactly.
I'm down for the cause, bro. So
sure.
I am all the way in, 10 toes down.
Yeah, man, believe that.
I am honored to be a part of this, man. And seriously, it truly is an honor. Thank you for doing this, man. This is amazing what you're doing too, man.
Thank you so much to Mr. Steve Moore of MoreAwarenessTees.com. Please make sure you go out and support that very worthy cause. Thanks again so much for joining us, and we will see you again next week.